So just do the same. And if you see this expression on your examiner's face, you got it right. Once I listened to an oral exam, and we had a guy who memorized all material marvelously. He basically learned a course book, not word for word of course, but he remembered all these tiny little details, as I could have never done better. I was listening to him and thinking, cool, but so what? I felt I kinda expected more of him, since he performed really well during the course. How do we know if he would forget all that stuff a couple of days after exam? So what? I was asking myself, and the professor whom I assisted in that exam was asking the same question. As you can easily imagine, that guy didn't receive the highest grade. He received a good one, but not the highest one. So, look here, whatever you are studying, humanities or social sciences, whatever you are doing, actually writing the essays or preparing for your exams, just think what you can do beyond memorizing a handbook. Your professor, look for your own contribution and for your own voice. If you don't know how to find your authorial voice in your essays, you basically need just this thing. So if you don't recognize it, watch that video. I'll talk about that a lot. Also, I'm preparing a surprise for you, but stay tuned, you will learn it in this video. This relates to thesis writing if you're wondering. During an exam, it's just the same. Your professor is looking for your own creativity, but I know that it's just very difficult to be creative sometimes. Yet, if you focus on a deeper understanding and not on memorizing a handbook, so you can actually reach that level of creativity that is necessary. By deeper understanding, I mean that level of knowledge of the course material that you can actually freely use it. You can use it creatively, you can add something, you can elaborate on your knowledge. The idea for 2024 is to prepare for your exam in a way focusing on the deeper understanding. Think about the additional information, of course, related to the course material that you can provide at your exam or in your essay. So it may be something that you read beyond the study material, or it may be that your personal experience tells you something important about the things that you studied. I got my highest grades, then I gave that information. So just do the same. And if you see this expression on your examiner's face, you got it right. Light is nasty. Light is just shitty. Absolutely. Then I was a student myself. I was that awful perfectionist who reads books from cover to cover and articles from the first to the last word. And I spent hours and hours reading these articles and books. Much later I realized that I could spend this time on something better, for instance on resting or on some hobbies, and this could help me to be more efficient in my studies. But back then, I read those damn articles. So, in 2024, don't be that perfectionist. There are tons of techniques around that help you to improve your reading speed. I myself prefer those that I talked about in this video over here. I hope it will appear over here. I am naturally a slow reader. I really like to analyze those tiny little details in the text, but that I had to pass through a lot of material, I usually feel overwhelmed and really easily get stuck in it. So I learned some fast reading techniques, which is not reading at all. I described them in that video I mentioned, and I also put it in the description box below. Just check it out if you're struggling with your study material. So, as a general rule, just remember that your professor won't ask you where that author put a comma in the 37th sentence in his article. But what he or she, your professor, I mean, will ask you for sure is the point that that author is making. I'll tell you a secret. A horrible academic secret. Some 99% of scholars, professors, PhDs, MPhils, BAs, you name it, they all read from their notes at the seminars. And you know what? I'd rather prefer them talk, just because the written speech is difficult to understand. And it's just such a pain to follow them if you just sit there and listen. I don't know why they are doing all this. It's not clear. I mean, then you're there, you think that it's easy just to read from your kind of notes or whatever you've written and just get away with that. But in fact, you're losing so much opportunities. And about that particular topic, I spoke a lot in that video over here, so check it out. Just imagine if you start speaking at your seminars. That would be so cool, and you will look at something really unusual. Just imagine that everyone around you read from their notes and you are alone are talking. This means that you know your material well, you're showing it, you're actually ready to discuss it with people, you will receive a better feedback. I never read from my notes. But honestly, since my BA, I've been speaking at the seminars and I usually got good grades at oral exams for the same reason. So, in 2024, speak and don't read. And this really will change the world, at least the academic world. And yes, just forgot, if you are afraid of talking, just have a look at that video with my crazy tips against the fear of public speaking. Ta-da! Here we are to make a big announcement. In March 2024, I am gonna publish a long video, a full step-by-step guide on how to write the master's thesis, with a critical assessment, also known as roasting of my own master's thesis. Also, in 2024, we are going to focus more on essay writing. I will publish the videos on how to begin an essay, how to write a good introduction, how to make a very clear structure in your essay, and also my favorite, how to find the authorial voice. And at the end of April, we will publish the videos on stress management during exams. If this all appealed to you, join our small family and follow along. And tell me in the comments what you are going to do to boost your study performance in 2024 and what study-related things you want me discuss on my channel. I really appreciate your feedback. See you in 2024. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year! Kids are shining. Shining kids. That's interesting. So, look here. Whatever you're studying, humanities or social sciences, and you know what? I'd rather prefer... I was stealing basically from...